All right, over to you.
Okay, sweet. So, good afternoon. In this PowerPoint, we'll be discussing the purpose of the Wyndham Research Report for this year, its aims, strategies, and the importance to the community, alongside future recommendations to implement in order to reach our goal. So, I would like to commence this presentation with an acknowledgement of country. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land. I pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging, for they hold the memories, the traditions, and the culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people across the nation. Supporting and understanding the Aboriginal culture is important in our learning and practice, as it shows gratitude of being upon their land and proves that we are attempting to deepen our understanding of their culture and traditions. So a little bit about us. My name's Mona Shahada, and I'm in my third year of education studies at VU. As I'm part of the Wyndham community, I feel an obligation and connection to this report, as my beliefs and interests align perfectly with its meanings and goals.
And my name's Indy Mannix. I am also on my third year at Victoria University studying the Bachelor of Education Studies. I grew up in a rural area, so I saw how vital it is to teach key literacy and numeracy skills at such a young age, therefore encouraging me, motivating me to change this and really connecting to this project.
I would also like to acknowledge our beautiful placement leader, Jack Gomez, for her support and guidance throughout the duration of working together. So as shown on this slide, this is the definition by the Australian Government Department of Education, Literacy and Numeracy. There are various definitions, of course, but this is one that we use to guide our work on this report, as it aligns with our views of it being far greater than just the basic literacy and numeracy skills. So its meaning is literacy and numeracy is much more than the narrow view that many in the community have of writing, reading, and counting, or recognizing numbers and reciting the alphabet. In fact, literacy and numeracy is far broader and richer than that definition, and is in just about every aspect of life. So what exactly is the Wyndham Research Project and Report? The State of Literacy and Numeracy in Wyndham Research Report 2021 focuses solely on young people aged 0 to 8 of the Wyndham local government area and how to enhance the literacy and numeracy skills in order to support greater transitions to school and to improve life outcomes. Its goal is guided by the 2018 to 2023 Wyndham Learning Community Strategy, also known as the LCS. This research report aims to assist with the design, research and development of a final report on the current state of 0 to 8 years literacy and numeracy in Wyndham, and provide recommendations for the next steps in 2022 as aligned to Action 8 of the Learning Community Strategy. In order to gather the necessary findings to tie the research report together, the team has gathered data from various sources, including data around population and broad census, NAPLAN, maternal and child health, and the Australian Early Development Census. Why is it important? So school readiness is an important indicator of literacy and numeracy development, as well as social and emotional well-being. When children enter grade 1, they are expected to have reached certain developmental milestones and have the basic necessary skills for formal education. Children who readily transition to school with early school success tend to maintain higher social competence and literacy and numeracy achievements in the long term. According to Carol Perfil Literacy Foundation, 88% of students who are not reading at grade level by the end of first grade may never have a chance to catch up to grade level without extraordinary and costly interventions. Therefore, by providing young people the necessary programs and resources to enhance the literacy skills, we will be ensuring that majority of Wyndham's younger community will be given a fair chance in their schooling. Additionally, numeracy in early childhood development should be something that goes beyond the dictates of the curriculum and becomes embedded in all areas throughout the early years. It should underpin a range of activities, including children developing social skills. It enables young people to make sense of the way the world works around them, to help navigate it using a variety of forms through numbers and how they are represented.
Our key takeaways of the research project. So together, Mona and I have agreed that the main and most important takeaway from this research project is how important literacy and numeracy skills are in everyday life. but especially how crucial it is for children 0 to 8 years old. We have learnt the difference between these skills being provided incorrectly and correctly, and that if provided correctly, its beneficial outcomes in the child's future years and transitions from home to preschool, daycare, and then to school. This project has given Mona and I more insight on the tools and the knowledge to provide this to our future students and to teach the future generations. Because we have been fortunate enough to learn these things, we want to move forward and teach others how and the best way they can incorporate these literacy and numeracy skills to young children they might know or might have. So where to go from here? That's a great question. So together, Mona and I have looked and researched other programs that we believe being incorporated into this project would be great. These include an implementation of Paint the Town Read, so that's PTTR, literacy program. So PTTR is a national grassroots initiative promoting early childhood literacy ideas, information, and activities by engaging with local communities. It encourages the whole community to read, talk, sing, and rhyme with children from birth so that they will be ready for reading and writing at school. Some of the literacy skills that they include are in attention, listening, language, awareness of sounds, symbols, and the alphabet, including book handling skills, drawing, shaping, and copying. The AECD states how Wyndham Vale with a percentage of 25.5%. Thus, the Wyndham Vale could be one of the starting suburbs for PTTR to be rolled out. Implementing PTTR in Wyndham could help demolish these percentages and increase NAPLAN literacy and results by at least 30%. The second suggestion is a walk-through education. This is where families are identifying their gaps in their own knowledge and education to help support literacy and numeracy in young children that they influence. There could be links to using this information gathered from the walk-through education to support culturally and linguistically diverse families throughout the Wyndham. The next idea is to incorporate transition statements. These would be statements for each individual child that caregivers and educators can pass on to one another. Transition statements would be a statement that overall states the child's difficulty and strength areas and is an excellent start to supporting families to understanding the importance of sharing literacy and numeracy milestones. Because it is a system that is already in place, it would be a fantastic idea to strengthen these systems to the benefit of the child. Following this, however, we must understand that not all families are the same and that some families might have more difficulties in some areas over others. By using community surveys, we are able to know more about the individual families in the Wyndham area and offer them the best support they need for their literacy and numeracy. It is rather important that we use what we already have. We suggest that we need to support families to use the resources offered at the libraries and raise awareness on how crucial a child's learning of literacy and numeracy are from the ages of 0 to 8 years old. This could be done through word of mouth, advertising, Read with Me at Home, and the Board Book program, which are both conveniently located on the Wyndham City Council website. Finally, being open and encouraging to other initiatives, one of which is keeping the project or the community connected to the young adolescents. So keeping connected with university students. For example, people who are particularly looking at working with children or are actually studying education like Mona and myself. This not only provides them with practice and experience, but it also keeps the project current with a continuous, fresher outlook. Other initiatives could be things like the MS Readathon, which inspires kids to read as much as they can, all for one incredible cause. The rules are simple. It's read whatever you like as much as you can throughout the month of August. It could also encourage the use of Storyline Online. Storyline Online is an online platform where celebrities will read picture storybooks that come to life in either English or Spanish. Having these resources handy offers children the best opportunities to enhance and progress with their literacy and numeracy skills. We would like to thank you all for listening to our findings in our presentation. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions, if any, and additionally, if you would like to contact any of us, our contact information is listed above. Thank you again.
Great job. If you just want to stop sharing, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that was terrific. Really interesting. I mean, I was originally an English teacher, secondary school, and then taught adult literacy for many years. So it was really good to see what was there at the early stages, what's available there. Terrific. Yeah, beautifully presented, girls.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I'm really proud of you both. I'm just getting a little bit of background noise, so maybe we just mute when we're not speaking. So I was thinking, I thought maybe Jacinta and I could ask a question just to keep you both on your toes. As you were both speaking, I was thinking, I wonder if being a part of this project has shifted anything for either of you in terms of your course, and your thoughts also on your career path, or how you might even raise children if you have them yourselves. So Mona, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'd love to start actually. I mentioned from day dot in our first conversation, Jack, I'm not sure if you remember, but I had never ever thought I'd even do placement at a city council. And literally being a part of it and seeing Jack's role within our community, it was so different for me, because for me, studying teaching is just like a straight road just to teaching. You know, you're going to enter a school and teach either primary or secondary, and that's about it. But I realized like there's so much more that teaching roles have in the community, and the things that we can implement and help our future generations grow. Like, it's not just about reading off a blackboard and teaching our students in a classroom. So yeah, it's definitely helped me be a bit more open-minded to career pathways that I can eventually go into, hopefully. And I have discussed with Jack a couple of times, you know, job vacancies within the city council. So she has got me quite intrigued. Also, on top of that, I've got a niece as well, and she's almost 1 year old. So to me now, I'm like, oh, now I've got to read with her, and I've got to make sure she's get all these baby books out, get everything out. And we've got her now blocks that have like numbers on them, and you got to put these certain things into those numbers, so it helps her recognize, and it says like number 1 once you put it in correctly. So yeah, this placement's definitely opened my eyes to teaching, to the roles of teaching, and how we could help, you know, the future generations.
That's awesome. What about you, Indy?
Yeah, you know, obviously, I think with this project, it's just opened my eyes, like Mona was saying. Obviously, all the opportunities, you know, growing up, you're always taught if you're going to be a teacher or study education, it's pretty much high school, primary school. So it's actually nice to have a bit more of a role with the council. You know, I think it's really interesting to look at it like how many different ways there are to help with the literacy and numeracy. You know, we're not just focusing on telling someone to read a book and giving them a book and that's it. You know, there's a lot of opportunities that we ourselves can do as educators, we can do as parents, we can do, you know, as like an auntie, or, you know, all these certain things, that it's not just one individual person's crucial role. And there's little certain things that we can do throughout the day to help those individuals. And I think it's just nice, because I've never really connected with younger children. So hopefully now, like knowing this, I won't feel as worried about connecting to them or talking to them as much. So yeah, so thank you.
They're both really great comments, and that gives me faith in humanity more broadly. But knowing that being involved in a placement like this that is a little bit different is really helping, you know, the student placements think differently as well. And Indy, just on your point around this focus on sort of the younger age group, when I was studying teaching at VU, I remember being more drawn to the younger children than the older children. But when I did a placement in a secondary school, because of what I'd learned around the importance of early literacy from birth, when I was working with particularly very low literate students in secondary school, about year 10, who actually didn't know how to read or write, I had a greater understanding around why that might be, some of the factors, and then ways to support them to be able to live full, complete lives as well. And so it's all linked. This idea of lifelong learning really is very, very important as well. So yeah, really, that's really great. What about you, Jacinta? Do you have any questions or any things you want to add? Just on mute.
Well, there's a mistake, a beginner's mistake, isn't it? This is the first year we've had placement for the Education Studies program. And I know you learn a lot through your units in the other units, but can you sort of tell me, how is it different, and what are the benefits of actually putting a placement unit in your course as opposed to just giving you the straight teaching? Is it a different way of learning? And is it effective?
Yeah, definitely. Like for me, I found that doing it, you feel like you're actually putting into action what you've learnt over the previous units, rather than studying a textbook. Like it's good to study textbook and answer the questions that obviously the teachers want us to learn, but by doing placement, we're really learning more about what we can offer, how we can offer it. And it's nice actually for a change. Like you kind of get stuck into a routine and be doing this for 3 years. Mona, I don't know if you agree, but I was kind of getting to the point that I'm like, oh, just push through. But having this, it's like, oh, I'm nearly there. Like this is what I'll be doing. And it just makes you more excited and full of knowledge, really. So I'm ready to teach pretty much.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. What about you, Mona?
Oh, I agree with India 100%. I was going to say something similar. You know, having our heads in the books for 3 years now, it's just, it becomes a routine where it's almost like, I know it's wrong to say, but you're doing it just for the sake of completing those assignments and getting them in on time. You're not really doing it out of passion for it. And with placement, I guess, not only does it prepare you and give you an insight on what you could potentially be doing, but it just, as Indy said, it's a breather. It really is. It's a breather from just writing these essays, completing them, just submitting them. It's something you tend to become passionate about and want to complete. And you're interested about it, and I never thought I would be. But yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I like it that it was a breather. It may have been slightly stressful breather.
It was.
And look, I'm as I mentioned to you both when I engaged you for this placement, that I don't work with students thinking that they're just students. I treat you as a team. And yes, it may have been challenging at time, but that's what the world is like. And it's important to, you know, be aware that there's a little bit of hand holding in real life, but not so much. And so anytime I have team member join me, from whether it's a placement or a new staff member, I'm going to treat them exactly the same and believe that they have the capability, and it may be a little bit of extra work for some, to really succeed and do incredible work. And I think you've both done that. You've really, the way you were speaking today was so dynamic. You were so brave, and I really think you did VU proud, and you did Wyndham proud as well.
Oh, that's lovely to hear.
Thank you.
I was going to ask if I could have a copy of your PowerPoint, and the reason is I have two granddaughters who are 3 and 1, and I'd love to have a look through some of those links that you've got as well. And you know, and like you guys with your niece, I think, oh well, I'll have a look at that, because I've had a lot to do with secondary education and adult education and literacy, but very little with the young children. You know, somehow my children ended up literate, but I've got more time to spend with my grandchildren. So that's great. But I'm so impressed, and I'm so pleased that you found it beneficial, and I'm glad Jack, that you've, felt it's been a positive experience. And I'd just like to thank you from VU. This is the sort of mentorship we really value. It sort of allows the students to step into a reality of professional life that they don't actually experience. They learn all about it, but they don't do it. So I think that this ends up, I do a lot of placements for other courses, for community development courses, and this is the first time, obviously, education studies. So I found it really intriguing in the variety of places that students have gone, and also the amount they have learnt. But they always need, the factor is they need a really positive mentor. So thank you for that, Jack, and I'm sure the girls agree with me.
Yeah. I've learnt a lot myself. So the feeling is very mutual that, being able to be a part of placements, whether I'm a student or whether I'm helping supervise, it makes me think differently as well, having that rich new perspective in this work. And I do really hope that once you can step away and actually have a sleep and a bit of chocolate and a bit of sunshine after the stress of what I know the past 24 hours probably would have been for you both, I think I hope that this has helped bridge the gap between being a student and what your future managers could be like as well, whether it's a principal, whether it's a coordinator in a school, or whether it's someone in council or another learning environment as well, because we're not too scary. And, we all really are just working towards improving our communities, and this work really is useful. It will be used by the 0 to 8 Literacy and Numeracy Network this year, as well as moving into next year. So what you've contributed is a real life example of helping Wyndham progress some of our goals in literacy and numeracy. So what you've done is really amazing. You should be so proud. And I hope, stepping away, eating a bit of chocolate in the sunshine, you can just breathe a happy sigh and go, cool, I did that. That's really cool.
Jack, one day I'll be approaching Mona and Indy, asking them to take students as placement from VU. So.
That's right. And I hope you both do that. Yeah, I hope you both do consider it, because it does stretch you as a supervisor as well to think in different ways. And as I said earlier, you both do have unique learning styles. And I've tried to kind of offer as many means of communication as possible. Maybe I tend to over communicate, but just so that you knew that you could reach out to me if need be, in whatever way suited you and served you both. So really well done. I don't know if you've got any final words that you just want to say, Mona and Indy, before we...
Honestly, thank you, Jacinta, for coming in and listening, and thank you, Jack, most importantly, for always supporting us, even when we didn't submit stuff in time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just the same with that. Thank you so much, Jacinta, for joining the meeting today and having obviously the VU side of it. And thank you, Jack, for being patient, honestly. Can't thank you enough.
You're welcome. Yeah, well done. And now you've got the gift of time I'll see you both a little bit later in the afternoon when we do the one-on-one discussions, but you're done. Well done. That's awesome.
Well done, everybody. It's great. Thanks again for inviting me. That was lovely. Okay.
Thanks so much. Bye.
See you later. Bye.